What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today we're swapping the bearings on my Raptor 700. As you can see, we already have the old axle right here removed, and we have a fresh one over here. So the way you start this, when the axle is still on, there will be the first thing you need to do is remove the brake caliper, which I just left sitting right here. Now there's two bolts which are right here, bolts and washers. You want to remove those and then simply slide that carrier up and off, and then there will be a big nut like this with a hole on either side. You want to take a small Allen key and remove that, and then you can take a big wrench and just pry that nut off, and then you can simply slide it off. It'll simply just slide off the whole axle. And then the next part is you want to just take the brake disc, which is right here. That'll then be free to simply slide off. You can slide that off with the nut together, and then you'll have this caliper stay, which mounts the caliper. There will be a clip like this here right in front of that, so you want to grab a flathead screwdriver and pry that off, and then that'll then leave this free. You can just simply kick it or hammer it to loosen it up, and then just pull it right off the axle, and then that'll be it. You can then take a hammer or a piece of wood or a rubber hammer and lightly hammer it out, or you can just take it from the other side and pull it out, depends on how loose it is. And it pulls out to the left, so you can simply pull it out, and the whole carrier with the axle will pull out. As you can see right there, we already took this carrier off. This is the old carrier. The bearings are inside here, one on this side and one on this side, and there's a small pipe in between them to keep them in that position. It's very important that you don't forget to put that pipe in there if you're changing the bearings. If you're changing the bearings, you simply pry them out, one on this side and one on this side. Pry them out, put your new ones in there, and you'll just keep that pipe in there. You don't even have to really take it out. And if you want to change your sprocket, this simply sits on splines right here. There are no bolts or anything holding this on, so once you have this carrier removed, you can simply take that off as well. I can show you on this axle. Now we have the carrier off here, and this is just sitting here, so you can simply slide that up and off. I'm not going to do it on this one because, as you can see, you can just slide it up. This one has quite a lot of play. As you can see, this is why you don't buy a $19 sprocket. Look at this. It looks like a saw blade. All the teeth are pulled forward. This is obviously very soft metal. Some of these, actually all of them, are pretty bent. If you just take a close look at that, that is not supposed to be happening. And this is a brand new sprocket. I replaced this about like a week ago maybe. This is how it's supposed to look like. Right here. Now this sprocket is not in the best shape either, but it is still in pretty good shape. A good sprocket is supposed to have, of course, straight teeth and a plateau. This one, as you can see, is already on its way out. It'll need to be replaced. A new sprocket has to have teeth, straight, and a very small plateau, so a flat section on the top of the tooth. And that's how you know if the sprocket is good. If it doesn't have that, you should replace your sprocket. So now all we have left to do for the Raptor is this axle here. Now the hub, the end of the axle is broken. This part right up here, there's a cotter pin, the nut, which is right over here. This one here, as you can see, it has small holes in it. And there's a cotter pin it's right here. This cotter pin goes through the holes here and then through the hole on the axle. So when you're taking that nut off, you want to just pry that pin out. Usually you put that pin through and bend it out to either side to stop it from coming out. So when you're taking it out, bend them together, pull that out. But the problem on this axle is this whole part on the other side, on the bottom side, is broken. So what we had to do is put a pin through there and tack weld it on there to keep the hub from coming off. And if you make the mistake of forgetting that cotter pin, bad things can happen. I'm talking from experience here. I once had just simply neglected to put that cotter pin through there on a different quad, and the nut came off. And while one of my nephews was riding the quad, the whole wheel flew off on him, and he ended up hitting a huge ditch and almost drowned the quad in the water. He was actually in the water with that quad. It was a very unexpected accident. It's fortunate that nothing serious happened and no one was injured. But all we have left to do here is take this axle and simply slide it through here. That carrier just slides right into here. And then that sprocket is already on there. So that's all that we have to do for this side. So we simply slide that axle in and then do this whole process I explained over here in reverse and put everything back on, and that'll be it. Usually what you want to do is buy brand new bearings. If you want to save some money, you can keep the same carrier, because you really don't need to replace that. All you need to replace is the bearings inside, and they are very simple to remove. You can get a pry tool. It's like a bearing removal tool. It has like a it has thread. You have like a kind of like a hammer that goes along a bar, and inside there's a round piece that's expandable. So you push that through, expand it, and then you have that hammer to pull the bearing out. That makes it very easy. I haven't used that kind of tool before. I wish I had one, but I don't. So to make it easier for myself, I'm just gonna take that whole axle, because it already has everything on it. This is a used part here, so that makes the whole process quite a bit quicker. It's kind of like a raccoon. You know, when raccoons, that's how they used to trap them. Take a log, bore a hole in it, to put nails on all four sides, and put like a shiny piece of tin in there, and the raccoon would reach in there to grab that tin, and the nails would bite into his claw and he wouldn't be able to pull it back out. And when a raccoon grabs something, he will never let go. He would die before he lets go. So it's a little bit of history there. That's how they used to catch raccoons back in the coon hunting days. But anyways, that's not what we're doing today. So pretty much that's gonna be it. I'll pick you guys up when this process is done, and we'll maybe go for a ride. Slap the camera onto the helmet again. Haven't done a riding video in a while, but now with summer coming up, there's going to be more riding going on. I'm also swapping wheels. What happened on this wheel is these holes, two of them are oval shaped. I think that's what caused my bearings to go as well. This is just a bunch of dirt here. That's what I think caused my bearings to go as well, because the whole quad was shaking at high speed, because these were oval shaped and the whole wheel was offset, so it was wobbling. And as you can see, this is not supposed to be happening either. And what's happening is because I just grabbed right into all that grease. Oh wow. What's happening here is that nut on the end of the axle is loose, so that's causing the whole axle to move around inside the hub, which is not good at all, actually. I mean, it's not a big deal, but eventually that's going to cause a lot of wear on the axle splines and on the hub. But the hub metal is softer. It's made of a softer metal, So these are made of much more heavy metal. So you don't really have to worry much about these splines, but the splines on the hubs will wear out very quickly, and then you have to replace it. It's about $100 for a hub if you get them brand new from the dealership. Anyways, that'll be it for this video. We'll probably do an update when this is all done and installed. So stay tuned to the channel for more videos.